It's a little blurry, right?
I don't know.
Why it is? Still blurry. Stand back a bit. Oh, ask them if they can see you okay.
They can see you back there.
Yeah.
That means you've been drinking if it's blurry. It's not a problem.
That's pretty funny.
It's holding a meeting to rehabilitate a yoga. Woo.
Okay.
All right, back over. Super Sunday fun day is underway. Let's get started. We're gonna come to the center part of our mats to start today. We're gonna bring our feet all the way out to the edges of the mat and turn the toes in slightly. Beautiful. I just want you to rock side to side. Kind of like that hula hoop thing. We're gonna develop this a little bit as we get started. I'd like to ask you to, be honest with yourself today and make sure that these we find progressions that if you feel it's much more body appropriate being where you are and doing what you're doing, just follow your lead there. All right, now begin to circle around to the right and back to the left and front, create a bigger circle as you go. I'm gonna put my hands in my hips because I hate when my arms just dangle there. And then when I get center again, I'm gonna reverse and go to the opposite direction. And as we check in with the center location, I'd like you to find a balance of weight between the left and the right foot. And I'd like you to take the ball of each big toe and I'd like you to push it into the mat. Give me your best effort there. And as you do that, I'd like you to try to spiral away the ankles off the center line. Give me that little outside hip activation. I'm going to cross my arms today. As I pull my butt back, I'm going to raise my elbows up. And as I as I push forward with my hips, I'm going to lower my forearms. So basically it's a raise of the arms and push forward and lower. Let's do that a couple of times. Now, while we're doing this, it's important that we keep the ball of the big toe on each foot and the heel is externally rotating, moving forward and back with the hips and up and down with the arms. And then stand up, change the cross over the arms, circle them or cross them over the opposite way and continue the exercise. Now the range of motion of the arms is try to lift a little higher, with each opportunity that your body grants to you. And on the next rep, hold the arms up, hold the hips back, let the arms extend all the way forward, separate the fingers nice and widely, and let's rotate the hands internally, externally. Again, range of motion increasing when the opportunity presents. I always like to recommend to people not to kind of be happy in a spot, but find progression and range of motion is so important, especially when we age, to find and to work on that. Now, hold the hands facing each other, keep the fingers nice and separated, and moving up and down the arms. All the way back, all the way up, not bending through the elbow, arms are nice and extended. And then on the next repetition, it'll hold up, stand up, salute the sun, blow out that air and fold all the way down. Oh my goodness, those handies are a little tight today. Now,
Welcome.
in this position, excuse me, spinal flexion, spinal extension. So I like you to kind of fold in and flex the back. And then as you inhale, extend the spine or flatten it out. And let's do that a few times. Slowly going, remember we're still warming. As you transition between flexion and extension of the spine, I'd like you to check in with your feet and make sure you're not forwardly oriented. So the pads of the feet are not heavily weighted. You're equal to the whole foot in the weight distribution. On the next inhale, keep the extension. Draw the hips backwards, walk the hands forward, let's stretch out those lats. As you release the next breath, let the whole body pull back down. And then Pilates style, we're going to come up one vertebrae at a time, tucking the hips under. Stacking each joint on top of each other, coming up to standing, palms are facing. I'm gonna globe or cup my hands, but I'm gonna keep the fingers all separated nicely. As you inhale, I'd like you to open those cupped hands to the front and continue to rotate them all the way out to the sides. And then as we exhale, we're gonna rotate internally, flex the spine, roll the hands in all the way around. And then as you inhale, do the same thing, open up all the way. Exhale, flexion and rotation internally. Inhale, extension, rotation externally. Keep on this for a couple more repetitions. And then when we rise, and this time, bring those fingers all the way up shoulder height. Keep those fingers cupped and bring them together. Nice. Now, a lot of us may have bends in the elbows. I want you to straighten the arms and spiral those elbows downward towards the earth, and then draw the fingers forward more. Now, I don't mean by fingers, I mean just pull the whole arm, shoulder carriage forward, and then draw the shoulders back. So we're going to kind of piston in and out with the shoulders, moving forward and back, fingertips pressing together. Keep that pressure on the tips as you move forward and back, and then hold it out, draw the hips back. Inhale, extend the arms higher to the sky. Exhale, let them fall down, and open now the hands. Fingers are straight, spread apart widely, and the palms are flipped open to the sides as best you can. Imagine now you've got a string tied on each thumb. I'd like you to pull that thumb backwards and upwards. You know, hold in this. If we expand through the chest, I'd like you to proud it out. Make it nice and proud. Push, chest, pull, fingers, take a big breath in. Stand tall as you sweep your arms to the sky. Let the arms fall down beside you. Shake it out. All right, let's step our feet together, hip width apart, toes aiming straight forward. I'm going to bring our hands on hips, and we're going to initiate our squat by simply letting the knees push forward today and drawing the butt backwards and trying to lower down and then raise up. So we're going to keep the mechanics relatively the same. Knees forward, butt back, and spine long. So we're not doing spinal flexion or extension. We're just doing hip, knee, ankle flexion and extension. The upper body is neutral, trying to be nice and proud through the chest. Imagine you're kind of pulling over from the center line, breastbone, if you will, pulling across the shoulders and mechanically working our ankles, knees, hips, lowering down, increasing the range of motion if you can. Hands don't have to be anywhere. You can cantilever by pulling out. Gives you an opportunity to go deeper. Try it. And next rep down, we're going to hold down, extend the arms out, raise the arms, and then lower down and sweep back. So our body is now working, and stability here is very important. So I'd like you to keep that six-pack muscle actively engaged as we sweep arms forward and up and downward and back. Spiral the palms when you sweep back, spiral them inward when you come forward. Continue on this for a couple more reps. And then stand tall, salute the sun. Big breath in, powerful exhale, fold down, come down onto the mat, but stepping backwards. So you're coming down, face down, with the hands, excuse me, by the shoulders. Now, your face, I'd like you to keep it elevated above the mat, so your nose or face or nothing's really touching. And then we're going to use our arms to help lift the shoulder carry. So I'd like you to press and extend the upper back and then lower back down. And we're going to continue on this for a few more repetitions. Breathing is very important here, filling the lungs as we ascend, as we get off the ground, exhaling as we lower. Now, behavioral things will take over here. So if your shoulders have started to round inwardly, I'd like you to work on external rotation with the spinal extension. Very important for our upper body and our back in general to help work the shoulders. So they're working our spinal extensors right now, the thoracic spine, the upper spine. And you should feel a little bit of burning going on, hopefully, And if you're getting that, great. If you want to add to that, if your body's willing to take it on, you can do the same exercise by lifting the hands up and creating a little bit of extension through the spine. Maybe alternating one with the hands and one without. And continue on this for a few more repetitions. And then lowering down, coming back up onto all fours now. When I say back up, I mean get up onto all fours. And let's find a nice wide separation in fingers and a relatively wider than hip stance on your knees. Padding is always an option, as you know. Towel if it's needed. I've got my toes tucked under presently. And I'm going to bring some flexion to my back. I'm going to let my head kind of drop down towards the earth. And with that spinal flexion now, I'm going to pull backwards towards the hips, increasing the flexion in the spine, if it's possible to do, and keeping the spine flexed as I move forward back into all fours, and now changing the curvature of the spine. So I'm going to let the chest push through the arms and take the back of the head, pull it to the sky, as I do the same with the tailbone. So we have a lot of our core working right now, and to increase and to stabilize while we keep this extension. I'd like you to try to pull your belly up and into your spine. And that activation there, that's your transverse abdominis. Now I'm going to keep that active as we bring flexion back to the spine and let the head drop back. And this time I'm going to draw back the hips towards the heels, keeping the spine in flexion. And then floating back forward and reversing and letting the head and tailbone go skyward. Spiral your elbows in towards the center line of the body. If you've locked out through them, locked out through those elbows, make sure you got a little bit of a break. And then let the head descend, spine go to flexion. Keep the spine in inflection and draw those hips back towards the heels. And then float back and reverse. And between these 2 points, I'd like you to make the movement happen for a few repetitions. You can add your own little interpretation. If you find something that feels good, do it. And then when we all arrive back onto all fours with our toes already tucked under, we can easily float up the knees. And I'm going to rock forward to back. And then hold, and then rock side to side. And then hold, and then circle right. And stop, and reverse. And when we stop, knees lower. Pull your hips up now, backward down dog. Oops, I'm gonna move my feet. It's a narrow down dog. Hands and feet are close together. As you inhale, extend to a flat back. Hips are high. And then draw backwards, weighting back into the feet. Fingers pulling back. I'm going to grab a hold of your ankles. As you wrap the ankles with your hands, I'd like you to find extension through the spine. Now, ankles may not be accessible for everyone, so if you need, you can come further up the shin. Tabletopping the back, best you can, keeping that spine nice and long. Now, with your head, I want you to imagine there's a string tied to the center of it. Pull it. And as you pull, crowd the chest. Now, take the hands off the shins, ankles, whatever you have. Bring them out to the side. And then rotate your thumbs up to face the sky. Separate your fingers widely and begin flapping. Thumbs raised to the sky, baby fingers drop, touch, and open and close. Inhaling as you raise, exhaling as you lower. Continue for a few more reps. Enjoying this, hopefully. Now hold up, stand up, sweep up the arms. Salute the sun. Big breath in. Exhale, hands come over heart. Let's step that left foot onto the center line of the mat. As you step the right foot forward, bring it over to the right edge of the mat. So we have center and edge all locked up. High on the toes of that back foot. Now, take that front foot push backwards, straighten out that front knee, hold on that. Take the upper body, lean it in, like you're chopping through the hips. You're gonna keep that spine nice and long, engaged, stable. Keep on that hold, extend the arms forward. As you inhale, raise the arms, exhale, lower shoulder height. So it's just a short up and down with the arms. Take a few repetitions, holding the fingers, keeping those arms long, keeping those elbows locked out. Now, hold, interlock the fingers, spiral the elbows downwards, extend the thumbs towards the earth. Nice straight to the arms. Inhale, exhale, raise and lower. Shoulder height is the bottom mark. High as you can, shoulder height, low as, start low. Now, bring hands back over heart. Let's take the back foot, step it forward, step it out to the left side, step the right foot back on the center line. Nice. Now, from that front foot, push, straighten, chop, lean, inhale, arms sweep forward and lower, shoulder height, up, down. Continue the repetition. Same thing as the opposite side. I'm going at a relatively fast pace. You can go slow if you want. Important just to work this little range of motion. And then holding down, interlocking, spiraling those elbows down, pushing those thumbs forward and up and down. Coming to the top, bringing hands back over heart, back foot steps forward. Good morning, everybody. Hands push to the sky. Exhale, fold all the way down. Step it back to plank, hover high. All right. Now, we're going to go through a series of movements here between our high and low plank. We're going to start left side, so we're going to step that left hand forward and bring the left forearm to the ground. Now, knees are optional here. If you need that to offset some of the effective work, please use them. And I'm going to step that left hand back in. And we're going to use the right hand, step it forward, right forearm comes down, and then same thing, step it back in. Left side and right side. And do it a couple more times. It's a lot of work for a lot of muscle in the body, but a very good exercise for core stabilization and our upper body. Coming back to plank, pulling up and back to down dog. Push onto the tippy toes. Drive those heels to the earth. Oscillate up and down. And then let the knees descend to the earth. And come up to a kneeling position. All right, I'm going to grab some water. If you want to grab the water, that's good stuff. In the kneeling position, I'd like you to take the top of the feet onto your mat and spread your knees to the edges of the mat. Turn the fan on, thank goodness. Now, we're going to take our hands and reach backwards. Now, I'm going to bend my knees slightly so I can kind of descend down onto my heels with my hands. And I'm going to keep my knees relatively bent until I ask you to straighten them. So what I'm doing right now is just pushing a little pressure into the heel of the foot to create a bigger opening for that shin muscle, knowing that we get shin splints in. And as we kind of work to lengthen that muscle out, it's for purpose that we do it. And it's used because that muscle in itself always remains very active when we sit. It's often very short, and it influences our ankle behavior. So this is a nice stretch to help alleviate the behaviors, the sedentary behaviors of our life. Now, I'm going to release back up, tuck my toes back under, because we're moving on. I'm going to keep the knees nice and wide to the edges of the mat. Same thing with the toes, or the feet. So they have a nice line front to back, and my hands, same thing, all along the edge. I'm going to take our head, let it drop. You can take the center of the spine and pull it towards the sky. So this is kind of like our cat.
And it's a wide base cat, if you will. And we're gonna hold on this and see if we can kind of let the head push towards the earth. I'm gonna try to tuck under a little more, find nice length through all of those spinal column muscles of the upper back. And now we're gonna kind of keep the flexion in the spine and use the arms to push and elevate the spine itself. So we have spinal flexion and inward rotation through the shoulders. Feel that nice lengthening across the upper back. And as you release your next breath, I'd like you to let the chest descend in between the arms. Spiral the elbows internally. Draw the back of the head and the tailbone to the sky. Hold your belly up and into your body as it pulls up to the spine. Fill the lungs there. And as you exhale, flex the spine, let the head descend, tuck the hips under, and push with the arms and expand across the back. And then reverse this. And then reverse. And then come back to a neutral spine. Float the knees. Pull the hips to the sky. Drive the heels to the earth. Walk the hands back to your feet. Inhale, extend to a flat back. Keep the back in extension as you orient your toes to point straight forward. Keep them to the edges of the mat. Draw the butt back a little more and begin to bend the knees. As we start to lower down, I want you to extend the spine. Now, just take your fingers on the right side, sweep them forward, and then open the palm to face the sky. Use your fingers to draw that right arm long, and then use your arm to lift everything skyward, and then return that back to the earth. Same thing, opposite side. Rotation, elevation, holding, releasing, and switching. Side to side. Slowly making the movement. The transition is slow, and the reach is really the important part. Reaching forward as you lift. No bend or little bend in those elbows. And this should feel really active in our hips right now. And if you're getting that, great. This is a perfect exercise for working those small muscles. And if they're burning, so be it. If you need to take a break, take one. And if you can, do a few more repetitions. And then fingertips return to the earth. Push the hips high to the sky. Inhale, extend to a flat back. Draw back the weight. Give me the weight mostly to the heels. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, let the upper body fall. Pilates style. Come back up to standing. Sweep your arms to the sky. Oops. Make sure the fan doesn't chop off my fingers. All right, reaching high, filling hard those lungs. As you exhale, relax the arms down. And then I'm going to spiral them in, spiral them out, flipping in and out. And on this next outward rotation, we're all going to meet there. We're going to hold on that, keep those fingers separated nice and widely. And while we're holding here, let's set up some expectations. So when we go into squat, I want to make sure we have external rotation in the arms and external rotation through the shoulders. So the chest is going to be very proud. I'm going to use our six-pack muscle to help govern and stabilize that low back of ours. Now, first descent down, I want you to establish control and then stand back up. So range of motion isn't the big driver here. It's all about spinal control, lowering down. This is a heavy glute exercise. We also have our quads working, and we have the major joints of the body as it relates to low back issues, and that's the hips, knees, and ankles, all doing flexion and extension. So I want you to work the range of motion
while maintaining spinal integrity, maintaining that strong, stable upper body with external rotation. So we're not internally rotating, we're actually practicing the flexion and extension of hips with external shoulder rotation. You don't like it because it's taxing on your body. It's the exact opposite of what we do every day. Now, come back up, sweep the arms to the sky, bring hands back over heart, and pray I don't have you do that exercise again. Right, Kirsten? All right. Maybe not smart.
I said it's hard.
It's hard, it is a hard exercise. It's a great exercise to do when you ever think you've got that inward rotation thing going on at home. Perfect exercise. Now, right foot's coming forward, hands are over heart, up on the toes of that back foot. We're going to piston the back foot, pushing the heel to the earth, pushing back up into the tippy toes. And we're going to work a series of progressions here. As we start off, same cadence, raising and lowering. And we're using tension in our muscles through the whole range of motion. Figure out a way to make that happen, best you can. Okay, on this next rep, everyone's going to hold up. We're going to chop through that right hip and lean forward, spine and extension. Left heel, rise to the earth, and pistons up. And continue on that with this little deeper flexion through the hip. So you might feel a little more significance in the use of that right gluteal and hamstring. And holding up this time, see if you can chop in and lean in just a little more and piston up and down. So the next progression may be the killer. Maybe. And on this rep, hold up and extend the arms out. Boom, there it is, maximal overload. Now, piston up and down. We're almost ready to get off that right side. Should be burning right now. If it is, if it isn't, you're super strong. Congratulations. Holding up, hands over heart, back foot steps forward, shake out that leg. Set up the opposite side. And hands over heart this. And lean in ever so slightly and begin to piston up and down. Hear a dog barking in the background. Sounds like his day is going rough.
Oh my God.
Oh, I know. Rough. How's your day? Rough.
Lean in more.
Kirsten's curing now. Okay, lean in more. Up, down, up, down. Save the humor for someone that appreciates it. Continue going. All right, on the next one, holding up, leaning in a little more, piston up and down, almost at the point where we bring in the maximal load. On the next rep, hold up, extend out the arms, piston up and down. Little nuances. Sometimes we like to shift the side. I like to try to keep forward and back. Whoops, saying that. Holding up, hands over heart, back foot steps forward, shake out that left leg. Consider that, check, and we're on to the next thing. With hands over heart now, I'd like you to step the feet about hip width apart. And we're going to begin to descend back to our squat. And rise back up. So a lot of squat action today, as you probably noticed. And range of motion here is our next focus. So taking it down to a spot. And I don't care if you kind of have to alter form to get down. It's more or less for the expansion of the range of motion and our hips, knees, and ankles. So I'm going to assist a little bit with my arms reaching down and standing back up, just to kind of give me a little bit of weight balance. And then if you can, see if you can get all the way down and then rise all the way up. So this maximal range of motion is something that you should always be working on. And how well your hips, knees and ankles extend and flex often determines how well you function in the rest of the body, the upper body. Coming down, holding down this time. Now, fold forward, push your hips up to the sky. We're in an inverted position. Hang on here a little bit, let that low back kind of get a nice lengthening, stretching out. As you inhale, extend to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Give me a few more repetitions of that with breath. And holding that back in extension, step your palms onto your shins. Let the elbows sweep forward. Crowd out your chest. Draw that head of yours long, make that neck long. And then both knees bend, and as the knees lower, the shoulders are raising. So we have a slight ski jump looking position going on here. And from here, we're going to sweep the arms forward. Crowd out the chest now. Bounce a little bit. See if you can get a little deeper into the bounce. And then stand tall. Sweep your hands to the sky. Salute the sun. Big breath in. As you exhale, fold it all the way down. Have a seat, and then lie down on your back. Cheers to everybody. Cheers to you.
Oh, I like the lie down part.
Kirsten was saying she likes the lie down part. Yeah.
Oh,
All right. On our backs, we're going to bring the heels of our feet to the corners of the mat. We're going to bring flexion to the feet. And then you're going to rotate your toes internally and externally. And just like windshield wipers on a glass, you're going to kind of just wipe forward and internal and externally. Try to keep the knees relatively locked out. And we're just kind of loosening up our hip socket as we make this movement happen. Let's bring it to a stop. Step both feet in, close to your butts. And we're going to do a little bit of pelvic rocking. So I'd like you to try to take the front part of the pelvis and pull it up to the sky so your tailbone has more weighting into it. You can kind of feel the skin in that area pressing into the mat, if you will. And then I'd like you to relieve that pressure by drawing the back top part of the pelvic girdle and the lower back onto the mat. Kind of like you're thrusting forward with the hips, but it's more of a rotation, front to back rotation, not side to side. And then when you have that, I'd like you to kind of reverse. So you're going to rock forward the whole pelvic girdle up and onto the tailbone, and then rock that pelvic girdle back so the low back skin, you can kind of feel it connected to the mat. And then oscillate between forward and up and back and down. Do it nice and slowly. Try to get a feel for how the muscles are actually creating the energy to make the movement happen. Now, we're all going to meet with the low back skin touching the earth, which means our backs are relatively flat to the earth. I'm going to imagine, or simply an imaginary thing, I'm going to drop a big bowling ball on your belly. What would you do? So do it. Active. Fire it up. Keep that nice and active. Bring your hands up to the sky. Drop your chin into the chest. Keep the bowling ball protection going as you begin to lift the shoulder blades up off the earth. So we're kind of crunching and then slowly return back down. Now, a little nuance with this. Bowling ball protection is not just a six pack. I want you kind of like, oh, feeling like it's almost constricting your breathing. But we're going to roll up vertebrae by vertebrae and then slowly lower down. So this is a big activation in our six-pack muscle, rolling up, holding for just a second, and then releasing slowly. Now, when you release,
Don't release the tension in the muscles of the tummy. It's just the back, upper back in this case, slowly returning back to the earth. We have all of that huge muscle activation in the abs, and we're gonna amping it up with this little crunch. Oh, hold up. Release down, extend the legs all the way out, and bring the arms all the way above the head. Great job. Now, let's bring the hands back beside the body. And let's bring that left leg up and into the sky. And let's take that left heel and drive it up to the sky. If you're inwardly rotating with the shoulders, I like you to flatten them out. Keep that left heel driving to the sky. And then you're gonna take the right leg and slowly sweep it up till it meets the left. And slowly lower it down to its starting position. And then do that a couple more times. Very important here that you got muscle or muscles that protect you against the bowling ball remain highly active. And the goal here is not moving the leg. That's just imparting more workload to the muscles we want to be working, which are your rectus abdominis and your transverse abdominis. And keep it moving for one more rep. And on the next time up, hold the right side up, switch to the left leg, up and down. So this is really a 2-item exercise. The hip flexors of the leg that's moving, and also the stabilization of the abdominal muscles and the load imparted into them when the leg moves forward and down and up and back. Kind of like a twofer. Now I'm going to have a couple more reps to kind of keep it equal. You may be faster or slower, but if you feel it's relatively balanced in its work effort today, we're going to all hold up, meet up with both legs up in the air, and then you're going to take your fingers up towards your toes, and we're going to peel back of the head and the shoulders up off the earth as we reach up to touch the toes and then gently lower back down. And if you feel burning in your abdominals, good news, right? Oh, slower back down, raise back up, lower back down. Do it a couple more times. And as you lower down this time, bring the legs down, extend them all the way out. We're going to lengthen out those muscles we were just shortening up or exercising. Arms sweep above the head. Fingers and toes pull in opposite directions. Make all of that point between extended and long. Fill up those lungs. Blow them out. Return your arms back down as you step your feet in towards your butts. Bring them out to the sides of the mat. We're going to rotate internally by pulling the thighs together. We're going to squeeze those thighs, and we're going to try to rock that pelvic girdle backwards so that we have a low skin, the skin of the low back connecting with the mat, or working to get there. And then as we open up, we're going to hinge on the outside of that foot to create opening through the legs. Feel that nice pull of the inner thigh muscles, and then inwardly rotates, squeeze together, find the low back, or work towards getting that connected to the mats, and then release that, legs open, hinging, spreading, and coming back in. Last time we're going to do this. Squeeze together, find that low back connection, hold on it, pull the belly in towards your spine. As you squeeze, keep the tension up of that neck of yours. I know you want to do it, don't do it. And then relax, shoot those legs down, shoot those arms up, Stretch it all out, point to point. And then as you flex the feet, separate them a little bit, bring your hands up over your chest, Pilates style. Up we come. Oh my goodness, do we ever work those muscles today? Dive it down, extend it out. Feel that nice stretch. What? Yeah. And as we walk back the hands. Oh. Let's take that right leg, sorry, left leg, and bring it over to the side of the mat. I'm just gonna form a 90-degree angle. I'm gonna have this right leg shoot off at a 45. Basically, we've got 90-degree in that left knee, and from the right side, instead of being straight ahead, 45 degrees out. Hips are gonna be square to the front and left leg. Gonna keep nice and tall for the spine, and we're gonna roll over that muscle on that left hip. Spine's extending, and we're gonna kind of fold down. And then we're gonna walk back the hands, and I'm using the hands and arms for assistance. Come back into seated, and then I'm gonna fold down forward again. Now, the right leg, I'd like you to try to push the right heel into the earth as we fold forward, and keep that push as we rise back up. And as we raise up, keep the spine long. Keep it long as you fold. Keep it long as you arise. See if you can do one rep without your hands. So get it down, and then back up, hands free. And then on this one, see if you can come down without any hands, and come up with any hands. Good repetition. Now switch it up. Set up to 45. And we're going to begin to rep it out. This is one way you can identify disparities in your range of motion from left to right.
But that glute doesn't stay there.
Yeah, my left side doesn't stay down like my right side. Yeah, that's because we have muscle imbalances, but that's fine. You can blame it on stiffness. I'm gonna blame it on old age. Now, on these next reps, let's see if you can add and impart a little more workload. Assist on the way down. Remove the assistance on the way up. On the final rep, see if you can do a down and up without any assistance. Oh, I still need it. As you rise back up, bring those legs out, staff pose. We're gonna do wide staff, bringing it out to the edges of the mat. Now, collapsing in, inwardly rotation, extension, external rotation, shoulder, like you kind of pull out and in. Take your hands, reach them out beside the body. Baby finger's gonna be on the earth. So your arms are straight, you've reached out, you got as much distance away from the body, the baby fingers. Keep that as you spiral the thumbs backwards. No, slip out of the way. And then, if you keep that nice and proud, like, keep the external rotation, crowding out the chest, lengthening the neck, and then holding that as you bring hands over heart. Nice. Now, Pilates style, that the pelvic girdle kind of cave in and then slower, lower down, lower, all the way down, and then come all the way back up. You'll notice that without the arms forward, there's a little more workload for those six-pack muscles. Folding down, let the spine flex. Keep the chin tucked. And always slow all the way down. And come up one more time. This time let the hands shoot forward. Walk them forward. Let that spine flex. As you inhale, extend to a flat back as you come back into staff pose. And then take your
hands behind your body and flip fingers to aim backwards. So we opened up through these shoulders of ours. Now, if your head's falling forward, like you to proud out the chest, so it's thoracic extension is what it really is. And draw the head high. Feel that nice opening. Walk the hands backwards if you can. Proud out the chest, and then take a big breath in. And as you exhale, come back to seated. Shake that all out.
Thank you.
Bring hands over heart. And then we thank you for joining us today. Namaste.
Okay. Super Bowl time.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Hello. Thank you.